Hello everyone, welcome to Brenda's Brushstrokes and Bisque live painting workshop on Thursday, February 13th, the day before Valentine's Day. So our workshop is coordinating with our subscription box for February, which is Winter Birds. And we're going to do some new technique this month with our rub-on metallics. And I have on the table our birdhouse. We have our little one-hole birdhouse and our two-hole birdhouse. And then I actually have our birds switched around here. We'll do our copper cardinals to go with our brown birdhouse, and we will do our silver chickadees to go with our blue silver birdhouse. But besides that, we will also paint them to look like natural birds in case you don't like the metallics. So there's our chickadees, and here's our cardinals that we'll be painting out. So I believe everyone probably had their box that ordered them for the 5th, except our Australia lady. Her shipping takes a little longer, or if you subscribe this week, you may not have yours yet. So I do have my box here. And I'll just show you kind of how it comes, just a nice priority box. And we're going to open it up here tonight. We didn't do that last month, but we'll do it this month. Kind of change things up once in a while. So we'll get it open here. And then your box will come all wrapped up nice. Courtney always has a nice quote on the top of it. So with this time we have the practice of art isn't to make a living, it's to make your soul grow by Kurt Vonnegut. So then when you open up your little box, you have a bunch of paper in there. And then you will have your inventory sheet. And then on the back side of that, we have our instructions, and also if there's any flyers that'll be in there. Then you can see your little box comes all packaged, all cute. Everything's bubble wrapped. Those are the Bisque pieces, and then there's always another extra little package of goodies in there. So I'm just going to grab all that stuff out quick. Toss the papers aside. So you can see everything's wrapped up really nice. I think that's it. So like everything's wrapped up in bubble wrap. It has a nice little band on it. It has a nice little sticker of what's in it. So this is our tall birdhouse. This is our short birdhouse. And I'll just put those aside. Then we have our little packages with our little cardinals in, our chickadees in them. And then we have our packages with our Bisque cardinals in them. And then we had our nice little Valentine's packaging, and our little gift was in there. Actually, it's a big gift. I shouldn't say little. So I'm going to just rip this open quick. I forgot I got to bring Courtney some better scissors. So there's your metallic rub-ons. That's our extra that's included in this month's kit. Then you had some Spanish moss for your birdhouse. You can see everything's inventoried and labeled, and you can go back to your inventory sheet to see that. Then we had a sponge for doing our marbling on our birdhouses, and our little dowels for our perches on our birdhouses, so make sure you don't lose those little guys. And then your nice Happy Valentine's Day treat was in there as well. We had conversation hearts, but they had a terrible flavor, so we took those back and we got these guys instead. So that's all your little goodies that are in there. Then inside this package, we have our new item that we added to the package this month, which will be going forward. So we have our inventory sheet is in there. It has what's in there, the little extras, any supplies that are not in the box that you might need, like the spray sealer and the E6000 or craft glue for the moss. Then we also have the listing of the paints that I used, and you can feel free to use any colors that you want. This is just the colors that I'm going to be using for our painting lives. So we'll put that aside. And then we also have our winter birds, the technique sheets for them. So this would actually be the one for the metallics, how those are done, because Riverview doesn't have the color flyers for these. So we did do the technique sheets typed out, which we will be doing every month as an additional extra in your box, because some people like the typed out instructions of how I do them in case they don't have internet access or they just prefer to write their notes on these. And then we have the tall birdhouse, the instructions for that. And then we have the short birdhouse and the instructions for that. And then we also have the painted out instructions for the cardinal and the chickadee on this one. So that's your instructions that are in there. And those are only in the subscription boxes. That's the only time that those are available. So I'm going to grab me some birds here so we don't, and the birdhouses, Courtney. So this is our bisque that's actually in the box, our tall birdhouse and our short birdhouse. And then our nice chickadees and our nice cardinals. And they're all cleaned really well and all the details carved back in them, so hopefully you notice that. That's another plus for our boxes. Our stuff is cleaned really well. So we will start with base. Everything is base coated. We'll start with our birds here tonight, and I didn't base coat them because I know we have a couple new people again tonight. So we'll just do a quick base coating. It won't take long. They're smaller pieces. I use an acrylic stain. This is the Duncan Bisque stain. It's an opaque acrylic. It's black OS567. So, and I just use a little piece of aluminum foil. You could use a paper plate, a ceramic tile, whatever you want to put your paint on. I like the foil because I can just roll it up and throw it out. And then I'm going to grab my one of my round nylon brushes. This is our Royal & Langnickel size 8. It's in our beginner's brush set. Just a nice beginner's brush. So Courtney's not feeling good here tonight, so maybe we'll cut it a little bit short. Hopefully she's not getting what I had. And she'll be watching comments, so hopefully she don't miss anybody and let me know. So I'm just gonna... She's got me all set up. Okay, so I can see questions here, so let's take a look. So it looks like we got a bunch of watchers here tonight, all the way from North Carolina. Good, Connecticut, wow. So let's see. Marie, Connie, Bobby. Oh, Gastonia. Where's Gastonia? Where's Bobby from? New York, maybe? Oh, and Rose with us says it's Brenda Day. All right, that's a good one. Oh, and you found a picture of a bluebird. Yep, you can paint the chickadees. So even though these are chickadees, I've painted them as finches, bluebirds. What else? Chickadees, finches, bluebirds. These guys, the cardinals, you can also paint as blue jays. They work as blue jays really well too. So even though they're chickadees, you can change the color out. Just use a picture and reference to it. So that's a good idea. Yep, and let's see. We got Sarah, and we got Stephanie, and Becky. Oh, Texas, Mississippi. You guys are coming in from all over tonight. We got the swans. Great. So I'm just going to base coat these black real quick, and I just grabbed my black, and you want to brush back and forth. Get out any rivers and puddles. You want to get in on the very inside edge of that rim of your piece. That'll just make it look nice when it's painted out and someone picks it up and looks at it. You want the bottoms to look nice too. So then I just paint back and forth here. Brush it out real nice. So welcome all our new subscribers and our older subscribers that we've had. We had quite a few new ones this week, so that's been great. We have cold weather here today. I'm not even sure what the temperature is, but it's probably single digits. What is it? 2 degrees out. Cordy says it's 2 degrees out.
That was the high.
That was the high. So I'm just holding on to his head, and now I want to get under his tail. So you just want to make sure you cover your whole piece really nice. Get a nice black base coat on there without any puddles and ridges. So I hope everyone liked their box. It seemed like it. It was fun to ship it again. I'm already started pouring March's box, but it's a short month, so it's going to be kind of a time cruncher. So Cordy's trying to zoom in a little bit. That's probably good, huh? Then you have to come towards me maybe. There you go, that's perfect. So Cordy's got us zoomed in. So you just want to brush back and forth, get in all the little crevices. Get rid of any white spots, aka the fleas, we call them here. And once I get that much done, I'll actually sit him down and grab the other one, because then I'll let that dry and then I can grab it where the black is painted and then finish the other part of it. So again, you just want to brush back and forth, get a nice base coat on it. Grab some more black. So I think Cordy posted a picture of the March. It's the Easter bunny with the Easter eggs.
We didn't show them everything yet.
Nope, and there's more bisque to the box than that. Hopefully I can get it fired this weekend and painted. So next week you guys can get the preview and then have the paint list. And then I have another little plan going on for that box. We'll let you know what that's about. It'll have to do with doing some miscellaneous techniques, I guess we'll call it for now. And it's Easter, and Easter eggs are popular for Easter, so we'll let you think what we might be doing. Should be a lot of fun. I'll have a couple options available. Oh, Cordy says I'm off the table here. That's okay. No, I just got to talking too much. So we had snow like twice this week, and good old Wisconsin weather. So I'm just going to set that one aside too and grab my cardinal and do the same thing here. You just want to go back and forth real quick or slow, whatever is enjoyable for you. So for the metallics, the base coat on the birds is the black.
Could you do something else?
Cordy asked if you could use another color. Yes, you can. Actually, on the blue birdhouse, we're going to use the navy. That just worked really well, but you could use the black on there too. Although I use the navy because the sides are navy, and that way I don't have to touch it up twice. And I learned that by doing that. The first one I did, I had black roof and then the navy sides, and then I marbled it and I had blue all over the black, so then I had to go back and touch it up. So we're just going to do the blue on the whole thing. So let's see, make sure I'm in the picture here. So these guys I also make with a hole in them right at the back of the neck there. They make good ornaments too for on Christmas trees. And then I just use a piece of ribbon type string and string it through there like we did with the putt snowman with the little piece of wire to pull the string through, and that works really great to make a nice Christmas ornament. Sometimes they have wire hooks in them. Yeah. Oh, putts had a wire hook. Something we did had the string that we pulled the string through.
Oh, the pickup truck.
Oh, the pickup truck. We pulled the string through with the wire. So if you're wondering how to do that, you can view the pickup truck. So I'm just going back and forth. This is real simple. These go really quick, this metallics. Metallics are hard to get a hold of today. We were lucky enough to get what we had from our supplier, and they have some more, but then the manufacturer actually has quit making this metallic. You can go to like Hobby Lobby and in the paint section and find different pots of different types of metallics. I'm trying to think what they're like, little 3-inch pots they're about 3 inches across and about less than a half an inch thick, and they may have purple or turquoise or silver or gold, but they don't always have them. So usually whenever I'm in Hobby Lobby or Joann's Fabrics, I will look in the paint section to see if they have any kinds of metallics, because the ceramic metallic pots like we have in this palette, they're getting to be non-existent. I didn't bring the Doc Holliday ones to show. Those are what I use at home a lot of times because I kind of have a back stock of them, but you can't get them anymore either. But any of the metallic pots that are the cream type metallic rub-ons, you can do that same technique with this. So if you go to one of those stores and you find a metallic rub-on, you can use it.
Just make sure it's not like a paint. Some of them are like a luster paint.
Right. So Courtney was saying some are more of a paint, a metallic paint. That's not what you'd be looking for. You'd be looking for the cream consistency container. It's usually called a rub-on metallic, and there's different companies that do have some, but they're just hard to find already. But it's such a nice product because it's so quick and easy to do. And these birds, they're a super seller for me at craft shows. So I got my little cardinal. He's looking all good, and I want to look for any little white fleas on him and get those covered up, because they always seem to show up even when you're done. And now that this is dry, I can hold him by the tail without getting my fingers all over and in fresh black paint. So I'm going to grab some more black. I did do a Christmas tree that was painted. I think it was with Lexington green. And then I had one of those green pots from the craft stores and rubbed that green on there. That was really pretty. It made a really pretty Christmas tree. I should have brought that along. Maybe next time. Next week, yeah. So it's a pretty handy little product. It's just that it's hard to get a hold of these days. So we got him all covered, got all his little chickadee white spots covered up. We'll grab our other next little chickadee and I'm just brushing back and forth and brushing it out, getting a nice layer on there. I know we had a couple ladies send us pictures. They were so excited they already painted theirs. So that was fun to see. I gotta watch to see if we have any questions going on. Oh, Vicky's gonna have 85 tomorrow. Lucky you. My goodness. I would trade your weather.
She's from Michigan. She just got down there.
Oh, nice. So we're just brushing this out. I have some friends that are in New Mexico right now, and there's a mold company down there that makes that large cactus, and I can't wait for her to get home because I ordered the cactus mold and they're bringing it back for me. They're already down there. They've been down since I think the last week in January, but they're not coming back till April, the middle of April, so I have to wait to actually see it until the middle of April. It's a long wait. But I can't wait to see that.
Did you already pour it?
The mold's already made. Yep, he made it when I called and paid for it, and was just waiting for them to go up there and pick it up. So we got our little cardinals all covered. Make sure they're all covered in black here.
Nancy says AC Moore has the rub-on stuff, but we don't have it.
Oh, who? It's a store?
We don't have it.
Oh, are they online?
I don't know. I think it's a Southern craft store.
Oh, okay. So yeah, it's just if you go looking, you just want to look for a rub-on metallic, and it's going to be it's a cream just like it is in the palette. Sometimes they come in bigger containers like the 3-inch by 1/2 inch, and then they're probably just one color in that container, but those colors go a long ways. So I got to grab this guy back because I see my fleas popping up here. This would be a great project for kids if you got grandkids because it's so simple to do.
Get their hands dirty.
Yep, they barely get their hands dirty and they could put on gloves if they wanted to. So let's see, now I'm going to grab my tall birdhouse and I'm going to base coat that one black too, the whole thing. And again, I'm just going to brush back and forth. And I want to get in the rim of that bird hole because you want that covered up nice so it's not stark bright white when we put the browns on it. And down in your little perch hole, our dowel will fit in there, but we still want to cover it up so it looks nice. And we're just going to do the whole thing in black. So it's a pretty simple fun thing. This would actually probably work really good on Easter eggs too. That's another thing you could do with them. Let's see, what else could you do with them? You could use them on lots of the different things. I used them on the silver for the base of the Christmas trees, painted it black and then rubbed the silver on. That was real pretty. So I'm just going to go back and forth here and get those all covered up, get my bottom. It was still daylight when I came down today, so that was kind of nice, instead of driving in the dark. I poured some more Easter stuff last night. I poured the Donna's Crackpot bunnies, a large one that's about 8 inches. It's a little girl with a clay pot on her head, a dress or bunny rabbit. And then I had some clay pot or the Crackpot bunnies that are about 4 to 5 inches, a set of 3, so I poured those, took those out of the molds this morning. Let's see what else was on the table with all that stuff.
Easter insert for the truck.
Oh, the Easter insert for the truck, another sloth, the Easter egg houses, trying to get ready for our kind of a Easter debut drop at the end of the month, get some Bisque, and then Courtney will post that it's available and it'll be on our website. If something is small enough, it'll be able to ship in your Bisque box for March, which gives you free shipping because we cover the cost on it then. So I want to get in the edge of that, inside of that bottom hole too, so that looks nice and neat if someone picks it up. That's really important if you're helping the 4-H kids because the judges look at the bottom of their pieces. They want to make sure that those are finished as well. So we're just going to go, then this is a smooth piece so it really doesn't matter which way you're brushing. You just want a nice coverage. Now you can see now this is I can turn it in different directions so you can see that there's no brush marks on there, that as that dries, it has like a self-leveling agent in there because it's a ceramic paint, and you can see there's just no brush marks. It's nice and smooth, and that's really nice for dry brushing and doing those metallics to not have those brush marks from painting. So the ceramic paint is a better quality paint, even though it costs more. You just get a better finished piece with it.
Shirley said she did your glaze trick with the oven and it worked.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that putting the piece in the oven, warming it up, worked for your glaze. That's great. That's a good little, just that little bit of heat, it just helps it stick right to the piece. So that's good. Glad I was helpful. That's what we're here for. So let's see what other kind of stuff is going on. I got to order slip sooner than later.
Supply order going in.
Oh, we have a supply going into our distributor, so if there's something you want added to your box that's small enough to fit, let us know probably before Monday or by Monday noon, because we'll be getting that order in early next week. So maybe if you want a certain bottle of glaze or a certain, I don't know, whatever, certain brush or whatever it might be, and we can get it, we'll add it to the order, and
We're ordering some new glazes.
we'll be ordering a few more new glazes. Last time we got Appletini and what else was it, Courtney? Orange Crush.
Like the newer crystal glazes.
Some of the newer crystal glazes we'll be adding. So I just want to look it over and make sure I don't have any white spots. There's a big one right there. So I just want to have a nice coat of paint on here.
Up to your Airbnb for Ohio.
We'll probably be ordering more of the Harold's brush cleaners, pads. We're out of a few things, so we're replacing all those things. So I'm just going to look it over and make sure I get a nice smooth black coat on here with no white spots. And we'll let this guy dry. And we'll set him aside. And I'm actually going to take my brush and put it in my water with my Harold's brush pad. And when you clean your brushes, you want to be gentle with them. Just brush back and forth. If you have this pad, it's great. You can see all the paint that's coming out of your brush now. And I just turn it a little bit so I can get the different sides of it. So you want to have your brush nice and clean. So we got it nice and clean here. And then I'll groom it to a point, and then I actually take my paper towel and groom it to a point again, and then I'll just lay it to the side. So we'll push this guy to the side now, and I'm going to grab another piece of paper towel. So in your box you had this metallic rub-ons. This was the Brights, I think. This was just number 1. They used to have 5 of these, and they're down. This is the last one. We had the number 2 one. I think we had 6 of those, and those are gone. We can't get any more. So this is the only one we can get. So we have gold, we have a green, we have a burgundy. That's the silver, the copper, another really dark burgundy. This one's more of a red, and then kind of a teal. So for the Chickadees, I did the silver, and for the Cardinals, I did the copper. You can do yours whatever you want. So I'm just going to take my little Chickadees, and I'm just going to take my tip of my finger and go right in the silver here. And you just get it on your finger just a little bit, because it goes a long ways. So now it seems like the light's not quite right. It's too. Maybe once I start rubbing it, we can see better. So I'm actually going to rub across. There, that worked good. I can see better on the little one here. So I'm going to rub across my texture. So now you can see how quick that went on there already. And you can have as much or as little on there as you want. And I like a little bit more than that.
Is it like a product that you can build up on? Like add layers to?
So Cordy asked if it's a product you can add layers to. Yep, so I'll just keep adding it, just rubbing it in until I have as much on there as what I want. So I'm just rubbing it on. And that's as simple as it is. And then I just keep turning him. And I go up in my little hole here too a little bit. So Courtney's got a question. What is it?
Can you mix colors?
Courtney asked if you can mix colors. I don't know if you can really mix them. So I want to get up under his tail here, and you kind of got to squish your finger to get it up in there. Get the end of the tail. And you just want to grab a little bit each when it's like not rubbing anymore. And I'm just kind of rubbing in circles, rubbing across the texture.
Like a Q-tip or craft application?
Cordy asked if a Q-tip would work. A Q-tip would work, yes. So would those little, those new little brushes that we had with the sponge tips on them. Although those might be kind of hard to clean. Those would be better for chalks. So I'm just rubbing it on there, and it doesn't take a whole lot. I mean, you'll be able to do tons of these with your metallics that's left. We're not going to use it all up on the set of birds in the birdhouse. So you just rub it in so you have a nice even distribution, so you have the same amount of black showing throughout your whole bird. Like you don't want a lot of black on this side and a little bit of black on that side. You kind of want just the same amount of black showing.
I have a question. Does the metallic rub-on dry easy?
So we have a question from Shirley. Does the metallic rub-on dry easy? It stays kind of wet yet. It doesn't dry instantly like the acrylics do, but within an hour it's like totally dry. Yep. So it dries. It stays open a little bit, I guess you could call it, because it's not dry instantly like the acrylics. So he's about even looking the whole one side compared to the other. So that's all there is to doing your little metallic bird. Isn't that cool? And there he is.
Yeah. Joni says you can use brushes too.
Yep. So we're going to grab our other one and we'll do the same thing. Get in that little hole. And you can see you barely use any of the silver, so you'll be able to do lots of projects with the stuff. So I just always like using my finger. That's just all what I've always used. So I'm just rubbing it on him. Get in and on all the areas. Just kind of rubbing in circles. And then I will actually seal these with the matte sealer. Just so it's got a little bit of or actually it's the satin sealer now, sorry. So that they're not, either the matte or the satin would work. I usually use the satin, like the semi-gloss stuff, because the metallic, you want a little bit of a shine to it. It has a little shine. So if you use the matte sealer, it'll be completely flat. So that's kind of personal preference, if you like them completely flat or if you want just that little bit of metallic shine to them. So there we go. We got our little chickadees all made pretty silver. That's like the easiest technique I think that I know. So I think I want just a little more on his little chest here. That looked a little dull yet. So you can see he just looks nice and even. So there we have the two. So now I'm going to just take my finger and try to get as much of that off as I can. It kind of stays on there. You could have used rubber gloves if you wanted. So now I'm going to go to the copper. You could probably even use the red. That might even be nice with the Cardinals, but we're going to go with the copper to go with our brown birdhouse. So again, I'm just going to go around, go in my little hole, and just rub little circles. I bet Cordy could do this. Mm-hmm. She don't seem too thrilled about it though. That silver, well, even the silver and the copper works good on like little Christmas ornament angels. That's another thing I use them on, angels that are ornaments. What else do we use them on, Cordy? I use them on quite a bit of stuff.
What kinds of ornaments?
Different ornaments, yeah. The Christmas tree. Oh, I used pumpkin. I did a pumpkin too.
You say angels?
Angels, yep. And I did a pumpkin too with the copper. That was real pretty with the green leaves. That was the metallic green for the leaves. That was real pretty.
You still have that?
I don't think I have that. So just rubbing in circles and getting my copper. It was more of a coppery gold color. So these guys are just lots of fun and quick and easy. I mean, like I said, grandkids could do them, older kids could do them. Even if you like an elderly in the nursing home, if you do projects with those kind of people that might be more challenging, this is a nice, easy project for them to do. Oh, you could use this silver too if you're doing the pickup trucks. You could rub it on the grills and the bumpers. That silver would work good for that. So he's looking all nice and even. I'm just get a little more on his face here. And now we'll grab the other one and do the same thing. So I'm just rubbing in a circle, kind of going across my texture. You can go either way, and then you want to get up underneath those little spaces, like the tail. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this, because it was fun thinking this up and tracking down the metallics, because that was a job in itself. So we have probably a few more of these kits yet, the metallic kits, and we'll try to order a few more when we order supplies. After that, I don't know if they'll be available, just because the manufacturer's not making them anymore, from what we were told. But it does go quite a ways, so. So we're just rubbing it on there. And you just want to get nice, even, spread out coat. And get it up under that tail again. And then just kind of look at it and make sure he's nice and even looking. So that looks good. We'll close that up. I'll wipe my fingers off here. So there we have our cute little cardinals. So it just makes a nice little quick piece. Good Valentine's gift for somebody tomorrow, or birthday. Huh?
Red metallic.
Yeah, we could have done that too, but I had done the sheet with this color, so I did. Yeah, there's red in there. I think that'd be real pretty on there. Cordy said the red, and I think the red would be real pretty on these. So there's our cardinals. So now we're going to grab our little skinny birdhouse.
If anybody wants more birds in their March box, we could do that too.
So Cordy says if anybody wants more birds in your March box, you can let us send her a message, and I'll make sure I get more poured and cleaned and fired, so they should fit in there. So now we're going to switch to doing our tall birdhouse, and I got to look at my instructions to make sure I know which colors I used. So we have the black, the white, the saddle brown, and the light brown. Where's saddle brown? Alrighty. So then in your package you had a nice little sponge. So we're going to do our marbling technique. Cordy, can I get some more clean water, please? So we're going to do our marbling technique on the sides of our birdhouse. So this is what we're headed for. So you can see it's kind of a marbled. You can put more of the cream white in it if you want it lighter than this. I just kind of went with the darker colors because the roof is copper. So we were using the white, the black, the light brown, and the saddle brown to do our side. So, and there's the front. So we're not going to worry about our roof because we're going to do the metallic on there. So I'm going to take a little puddle of my saddle brown. So I have our Duncan Bisque OS567 saddle brown. And I want a nice little puddle of that. Let's see. Can I get some fresh water? And then we're going to take some of our Bisque, our light brown, Duncan light brown OS567. And I'm going to put that about a size of a quarter away from my saddle brown. And then I'm going to take some white, which is just our Duncan Bisque OS431 white. And I'm going to put that about the same distance away from the light brown. And we already have the black on there, so now I'm going to take my, I'm going to take this out maybe. I'm going to take my sponge and I'm just going to dip it in my water, and I'm just going to wring it out. So I just damp sponge, and now I'm going to take my sponge, and you can use the skinny side, or you can use the wider side, but I use it on end, and I'm going to, on one side of my sponge, load it up with the saddle brown, and on the other side get the light brown. So you can see I have half light and half saddle brown. Now we're going to start on the back, that way if you don't like it, it won't be on the front where you can see it right away, so we can adjust it. So now I'm just going to take my sponge and I'm going to dab up and down, and I'm going to turn it, and I want to fill in as much, cover up as much black as you want to, right up to your birdhouse. I'm going to grab some more. Again, I have the light brown on one side and the saddle brown on the other side. So now I have a lot of the light brown over here, so I'm going to turn my sponge around and get some more of the saddle brown over there. And you just turn your sponge, and you can actually, when you push your sponge down, give it just a little, like 1/8 of an inch of a turn, and that'll kind of marble your colors together a little more. So again, I'm going to grab some of the saddle brown and some of the light brown, and I'm just going to go up and down. So now this one ended up actually a lot lighter in color than the sample one, and I actually like that a lot better. So I just want to get back up into my peak here. So you just dab it till you get like the color, the degree of color that you want. And then we can turn to the side, next side. And again, I'm going to grab saddle brown on one side, the light brown on the other, kind of go through the middle there, and so now I have a lot more saddle brown on this side, so we'll see what that looks like. And I just want to keep turning my sponge so I don't end up with the same color all in one spot. Bring it right up to your roof edge. Put it back down into the table here. So now once I have most of that covered, I'm going to grab a little more of my two colors here. Again, I got half saddle and half light brown. I'm going to push down, and I'm going to give just a little bit of a turn to it, and that's going to just kind of marble those colors together a little more. And if you want it darker, just put more saddle brown in on your sponge, or if you want it lighter, put more of the medium brown on it. And you can let more black show through if you want, or less black. It's really forgiving.
Yeah.
What?
I like in the sponge.
So this is it's just a marbling. And you want to do your bottom too. Sharon Kinsey used to do this technique. I have one of her books. So you just kind of dab it on. So I'm going to get up in there too. And then once it's most of it's covered, you touch it down and just give it a little bit of a turn. And that just gives that more of a marbled look to it, more of a blended look to it.
Cool Easter eggs.
So, yep, Cordy said this would be cool on Easter eggs, yep. So now I'm going to come back to my other side. I'm just holding the top. So again, I kind of tip my brush to one side, grab my saddle brown, tip it to the other side, and grab the light brown, and then drag it, and it just kind of blends it a little bit. So again, you can see it's half and half about. And I'm just going to dab up and down, and I'm just turning my sponge any way just to get it on there good, and I need more paint. So it's just another way of doing something, just to make stuff a little different. What?
Gravitate towards yourself.
Yeah. Cordy says I'm gravitating towards me. So you could leave more black showing through like that too. I kind of like the more color, so I'm just going to grab more color here. And now I'm going to push it down and just give just a tiny turn. And that's what gives that little kind of that... Oh, I'm out of frame? Oh. So I'm hopefully back in frame here. So I'm just touching my piece and then giving just a little tiny turn, like maybe 1/8 of an inch or less. And that just gives your nice little blended look. And say, now that's really creamy looking, I don't like that, I'm going to grab some more brown. You can come back and add brown in there. So it's really forgiving as well. So just like that, it's darker. And it's very, it's just easy. So you can change it, you can make it lighter, you can make it darker. So now we're going to grab some of the saddle brown again and some of the light brown. And we're going to come to the front here. I'm just dabbing it pretty much straight up and down at this point, getting in my little perch holes. You want to get that too. Once you get to this point, it's a little harder to hold on to it because it does take a little more for that to dry. Let's see, are we in the thing yet? Alright, so I'm just going to get up in my peak. So I have a lot of tan there, so I'm actually going to turn my thing so I can get some, just like that I got more brown in there. So it's just really simple. So if you don't like an area, you can cover it up with whatever color you kind of want in there. Now I'm just doing my little turn just to get that marbled effect. Now this is a lot lighter than the other one, but I do like the light, so just to show you can do it lighter or darker. I would just have more of the saddle brown in there if I wanted it darker like the other one. And we got a little black showing through. So now I'm going to actually go back to my white, and now I'm going to put white, just a little bit of white where the light brown was and light brown where the saddle brown was. I just want a little more color, and that's way too much. So I'm going to just dab with my saddle, the dark side, just kind of blend that out a little bit. Let's see if I can get some of that off of there. I just want a little bit of white. I'm going to dab on my paper towel. Just get less white on there. That's just a little more than I want. And then I'm just going to touch it and then do that little turn with it again. So you can add a little white here and there just to give it a little pop of color. And that was like a little too strong there, so I just touched it with the brown. And we'll get a little bit of light back here. And we'll get a little white back here. I'm just stamping out my sponge on the foil just to get that white so it's not so prominent. I'm just touching it and giving it a little turn. And if your paint has gotten too dry, and you can actually go into your water and then with your sponge just dip it in the, I'll just bring this over a little bit. I'm just going to touch the tip of the sponge into the water, and then I'm going to go on to my paper towel and dot it out a little bit, and then I can come back onto my white where it seemed too dry, and then that'll just, you can blend it out a little more just with that little bit of water. And we'll come back around to our front and our bottom. Nope. We got a question?
If you get too much one color.
So Timothy says, what if you get too much of one color? Just dip in your other color and go back over it. So I'm just going to grab a little more white here. And that I like to dab out first before I touch it, because then it isn't quite so strong. So that's how you marble. So it's got a nice light. So we can show you the other one. It's a lot darker. So you can have it darker or you can have it lighter, and you could have it even lighter than this yet if you wanted more of the light brown in there, would do that for you. So that's that. So we got that marbled. Got the bottom marbled. So now I'm going to just flip my paper over here. So I want to take and touch up where so you do want to do your marbling before you do your roof, because as you can see, the marbling is on my roof now. So I'm just going to take a little bit of black, and I want to touch that up where the black got on there, or the brown got onto my roof. So I'm just going to set him down so he's nice and solid. And I need some fresh black. That's kind of dried up. So I just want to touch up my black that's on the overhang of the roof. So that's why we marbled it first, otherwise we'd have that all over our metallic, and then it would be a lot harder to touch up. And the underside on each side. And if you would get black on the side, you would just take your sponge and re-sponge your browns back on there after it's dry. So both of these are new techniques tonight. They're both pretty easy, pretty forgiving. And we'll get the back here. And if you don't like the browns, you could use other colors. I just thought the brown went with the coppery looking cardinals. And then the copper roof on here. So you could marble on Easter eggs, you could use the pastel colors. You could marble on, maybe if you're doing like an angel's dress or something, you could do it on there. So we'll just trim out our edge here. So we don't just dry brush, we try to do different techniques, and next month we'll be adding chalk into the mixture. There's a couple different ways to use chalk, so we'll just start with one of them.
We are limited to non-kiln, like non-fired products.
Right, so Cordy was saying, so the subscription box, because the idea behind these was to help people that didn't have access to local shops, which means you don't have access to a kiln. So we are doing non-fired items, techniques. So we're not using glazes. That way you don't have a piece that you can't get to a shop to get it fired. So that's why our techniques are with a lot of dry brushing and the acrylics and things like that, instead of glazing and lusters and all of that type of stuff, because those techniques require an additional firing or two. And that was the thing, is a lot of you guys don't have access to a kiln or a shop, so that's why we are doing a lot of dry brushing and painting, but we can we're throwing these extra things in because you don't have to just dry brush. So there's our little, he's all touched up. We'll let that dry for a minute. I'm going to wash out my brush. So for what time we got?
5 to 8.
5 to 8. Okay, so for next week, you guys can base coat the one-hole birdhouse with the navy blue, if you want the blue and the silver. So you can base coat the one-hole birdhouse with the OS567 navy, just the whole thing, top, the bottom, the sides, just like we did with the black. Just use the navy instead. And we'll work on that one next week. So now this is just about dry. So let's see, we will do the dowels on both of them at the same time. And those are painted the saddle brown, so you can do those in the saddle brown. And you may need a little utility knife or a little Perry knife. We'll have to shave those down a little bit to get in the holes. It was hard to get the exact size that would fit. So that's just waiting for that to dry here for a minute. And then next week we'll work on the blue one, which will go really quick. We'll do our marbling and we'll do our silver. And then we can actually probably do our little wood pegs we'll put in, and we'll glue on our moss, and then we will start painting our natural looking birds. So that's looking pretty good. So now I'm just going to grab my silver again. So you don't even have to wait real long for this to work. So I'm just going to, nope, I don't want silver, I want copper. I almost went the wrong color. And you can do, if you wanted to do this one in the silver and the other one in the copper, that's fine. I just picked this one to go with the Cardinals. So I'm going to use the Cardinal color on the roof, and I'm just going to grab, again, put it right on my finger. Now this is a real smooth surface, so this will take a little more rubbing to get it all on there. And I actually brought it right around the front. And if you want to get it up on the underneath part a little bit, you can do that, or you can leave that black. Excuse me? Huh?
Yeah.
Let me move this out of the way then.
Push it up because you were out of frame.
So I'm just rubbing my little birdhouse roof and the little overhangs right up to the marble. And you can let a little bit of black because that's your shading again. And we'll do the same thing all the way around. So these guys are really, really quick. Maybe we'll even have an extra, our fourth one will maybe have to do something else additionally because these guys will go really quick. Even the dry brush and the other ones will take longer, but if we have to come up with something else, we'll come up with another little project to go with these. Kind of a FYI little extra that we'll throw in. So I have all my little rims done with my gold.
Can you show Ray the dowels came in? She said she didn't get them, but they're in a really small bag.
So it's the dowels came in this really little bag.
Look back through her packaging.
Cordy says to maybe look back through your packaging. Just little pieces of dowels, 3 of them. They were in the larger Valentine's package. I don't see it. So all the extra little goodies were in this package. All the little packages were inside this. So you might want to check your packages. There should be the Spanish moss. Your palette of metallics was in there. The sponge was in there in a baggie, and then the little dowels were in there. It's just a really little bag. So we're going to come back and finish, and I'm just rubbing in a circle, and you can let as much black shine through, or you can have it totally solid. It's up to you. If you want it more rustic, you might want more black shining through. So we're just going to rub that in good. And I'm not rubbing real hard. I'm just going in a nice circle. And you can go, it doesn't matter which way you go because you're just burnishing it into your paint. And you can let just a little black showing through that just gives it some character. And it's not all completely the same because when you look at a roof, it's not like completely. I'm just rubbing our coppery gold in here. Oh, we booked our bed and breakfast for our Ohio show yesterday. We're staying in Hamilton.
It's an Airbnb.
Airbnb, what's the difference?
Bed and breakfast is from when you were a young gal.
Oh, no, so the B&Bs,
It's Airbnb.
what I'm used to as bed and breakfast, the new age people call it an Airbnb, but it's really the same thing. So we booked a house anyway. That's 13 minutes from the show in Ohio, in Hamilton. So that's where we'll be staying for the weekend. So we can check out the show and pick up all kinds of supplies. So maybe take a couple classes. So I'm looking forward to April, the last weekend in April. So I'm just rubbing my silver in, or the gold rather, the coppery gold, letting some of the black. I got it on the face of the birdhouse. And then kind of the little under, what are the soffit, I guess is what it officially is. Just the technical builder's term. But I'm letting a little bit of black where the soffit meets the birdhouse just for some nice shadows and shading. So there's our nice little copper roof birdhouse. Isn't he cute? How simple is that, you guys? Super simple. So we will finish, and now our little birds match. So we'll finish our little moss next week and our dowels. So that's that guy and our little birds to go with it. And if you want, you can base coat the other one-hole one with the navy blue, the whole thing, top to bottom. And then we'll do our marbling, and then we'll do our silver. And then we'll probably get started on actually working on one of these guys right away for just the extra technique if anyone wants to do that instead of painting theirs out, or those of you guys that got extra birds to try both techniques, you can paint along to do that. Let's see what else. It's a busy week because we got to get stuff poured for the next set of boxes. Look for the pictures next week of the boxes with the color list. Courtney will then we'll have to get the posting on the Brenda's Brushstrokes and Bisque.com for the pre-order if you're not a subscriber. If you want to subscribe, if you want any of the past boxes, you can purchase those on there. Let's see, anything else, Courtney?
Yes, if you were doing paint showing the bird's dry brush.
So we had a question if we're going to show painting the bird's dry brush. Yes, we are going to do that, the Cardinals and the Chickadees, because I knew the marbling and the roofs would not take long. So we added this as an extra as well because a lot of people like the birds. So, and maybe if we have extra time, we could do a finch and a blue jay. Maybe that'll be our extra. That'll give you guys a reference on how to do a blue jay and a finch too. So I'll have to make sure I have a couple extra birds. So that's probably what our extra class will be because I'm sure we're going to have extra time. So that we'll plan on doing the finches and the blue jays.
Tammy asked about sealing the metallic.
Okay, so then the metallic ones, I usually seal them with the satin sealer. Just the satin spray sealer, just like we seal anything else. If you don't care for that little bit of a metallic shine, you can use the matte sealer because that'll be very flat finish like the former. So does anyone else have any questions? If you do, you can always message us during the week and we'll get to them. We are busy working too, so sometimes it takes a little longer with something. I hope it ain't the flu because I don't want it. I already had it. So questions may be a little bit slower on getting answered the next couple days. Plus Saturdays, her and Jason have a craft show, so she won't be answering questions Saturday either. I'll try to watch them. If you don't hear from us right away, hang in there and we'll get back to you.
If you ordered a box, it'll go up Monday.
Anyone that subscribed this week to order boxes, they'll be.
Wednesday, today.
If you ordered boxes Wednesday or today, we had a couple orders yesterday and today.
But
Those.
if you ordered Monday and Tuesday, they're already in the mail.
Okay, I'm going to start over. So Cordy says if you ordered a box Monday or Tuesday of this week, they're already mailed. If you ordered yesterday or today,
They'll go up Monday.
they'll be going out Monday. So sit tight and they'll be on their way. Have a great week, you guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Another little fun technique. Keep working on more techniques and ideas for you. If you have something, an idea for us, let us know too. So have a great week. Bye.